We will shortly be arriving at Deptford. Please mind the gap between the platform and the train.
This is a regional video project based around Deptford. The video aims to highlight life in Deptford and showcase many different elements of the area, including the demographic, key landmarks and numerous BAME-owned businesses. Deptford is situated in south-east London in the borough of Lewisham. It has a postcode district of SE8. It has borders of Lewisham, Greenwich, New Cross and Surrey Quays, and is situated right on the bank of the River Thames. It also sits by Deptford Creek and the Ravensbourne River. Here I am crossing the aptly named Creek Road Bridge from Greenwich into Deptford. Its name originates from its origins as a ford of the River Ravensbourne, which is a tributary of the River Thames. The name Deep Ford slowly transformed into the similar sounding Deptford. This anchor is located at the top of Deptford High Street to commemorate the rich naval history of the area, including Deptford Dockyard. Convoy's Wharf, formerly called the King's Yard, is the original site of Deptford Dockyard. There are ongoing renovation plans to bring the area back into the heart of Deptford. Opened in 1836, Deptford Railway Station is the oldest functioning railway station in London and one of the oldest in the world. It was also London's first railway line and is now the UK's only surviving carriage ramp. Deptford Bridge is much newer and allows for quick routes into central London and back via the DLR. On Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays, Deptford Market is open between 9 AM and 5:30 PM. The High Street is closed between 6 AM and 7 PM on these days to cater for the market. Here you can find all sorts of stalls from clothes to groceries and fresh produce. There are many BAME-run stalls selling fresh fish and meat. There are also fresh fruit and vegetables typical to African cuisine being sold, like okra. There are also many Caribbean stalls here. Here you can see Chill Spot Jerk, a regular stall in Deptford Market, and a black-owned local community pop-up store serving natural juice. As you can see from the picture, they also specialised in catering events with Caribbean food. Next to that was the RTG Kitchen, an award-winning black-owned Caribbean food stall, also a regular in Deptford Market. They've even made an appearance on the BBC One show. Deptford Market Yard occupies the old station carriage ramp directly outside of Deptford Station. It consists of a collection of independent shops, restaurants and new market spaces. Some of the venues include Tapas Rooms, Le Monde Coffee, Planet Wax Record Shop and AAJA Deptford, a versatile record store, bar, live streaming and performance space. One of the restaurants here is Jerk Yard, a Caribbean-inspired street food shop that uses a secret recipe jerk sauce that has been passed down through generations, according to the Market Yard website. It is open Monday to Saturday 11 AM till 8 PM and Sunday 11 till 7. I was interested to see what it was like and also see how much a Caribbean food shop in this part of Deptford could potentially earn. The food was tasty. I ordered food around 1 PM when it was relatively busy. My order came to around £15 and was well worth the price. There were about 10 people including me in the queue. If each of us spent £15, that works out at 150 between us. As lunchtime will most likely be the busy period of the day, I estimated another 50 people coming throughout the day. If that is the case, potential earnings of the day would work out to be £900. If these numbers remain the same throughout the week, that means the week's earning would equate to £6,300, the months would equate to £25,200 and the years to £302,400. This amount is obviously before costs and is an estimate, as weekends and holiday periods will most likely be busier. Deptford High Street is a bustling place. I saw a mix of different types of people, shops and restaurants. There are many BAME-owned butchers and grocers, as well as takeaways and cafes. Walking up, I saw many black-owned businesses. Lickald is a black-owned Caribbean takeaway food shop. Betty Enterprise Limited is a black-owned shop selling a variety of items, including bags and shoes. And Zara Fabric sold rolls of fabric in large quantities. I saw many places towards the end of the high street which showed signs of gentrification. There were many edgy and trendy bars and workspaces intertwined with the other shops that had clearly been on the high street for a long time. These signs of gentrification were also evident in the market yard. This will hopefully bring more money and life into Deptford and not get rid of the many locals. I saw these musicians busking in the square just off the high street, which highlights how much of a cultural melting pot Deptford really is. Walking around Deptford, I saw many churches. St Paul's Church is just off the high street and features Baroque-style architecture. From research, I found that in the 70s and 80s, the basement room, which was known as the Crypt, was used as a club space hosting numerous reggae and psychedelic rock nights. St Nicholas Church is the oldest church in Deptford. It is iconic due to the skull and crossbones sculptures that appear on the gatepost outside, which many say influenced the iconic Jolly Roger pirate flag. These sculpted skulls are actually meant to represent everlasting life. Here I am taking a stroll through the St Nicholas Church gardens. The other churches include St Luke's and Our Lady of the Assumption Deptford Catholic Church. There are many green spaces and parks around Deptford. These include Deptford Park, Margaret Macmillan Park, Ferranti Park, Brookmill Park and Sayes Court Park. Sayes Court Park has a lot of history behind it. Formerly acting as Sayes Court Manor Gardens, it played an important role in the formation of the National Trust. Some of the other landmarks in Deptford include the Albany Theatre, a multi-purposed art centre that has been around for over 100 years and hosted many famous artists and performers like the band Squeeze. There is also Deptford Lounge, which is home to Deptford Library, and Wavelengths Leisure Centre, which I used to attend when I was a kid and used the wave machine. There are two main further education centres in Deptford, the Trinity Laban Conservatoire of Music and Dance, situated on Creekside, and Lewisham College, based right by Deptford Bridge Station. Creekside Education Centre runs activities based towards schools, highlighting conservation and preservation. They run a variety of activities including walking in the creek at a low tide. I also discovered some Grade 2 listed buildings on Tanner's Hill. I found there to be many creative places around Deptford, including numerous art studios and a lot of street art. Many of the pubs and venues incorporated this street art. There were many famous people that grew up in Deptford. Members of the band Squeeze, including Jules Holland, and members of Dire Straits grew up here in the Crossfields estate. The economy of Deptford has declined since the closing of the docks and the demolition of the old power station. However, areas are slowly being redeveloped and gentrified, which you can see throughout this video. There are many big developments in place, like that of Convoy's Wharf. These new developments provide for much of the growing economy in Deptford, along with the market and market yard. The market was even described as the capital's most diverse and vibrant high street in 2005 by the Yellow Pages. In my opinion, this still rings true today. This description links well with the demographic of Deptford today. Walking through the area, you can see a huge mix of people. Originally, the people living in Deptford would have been primarily associated with the docks. However, since its closing, it has changed massively. In the 1950s and 60s, there was a massive influx of Caribbean immigrants that settled in Deptford and the borough of Lewisham, including my grandparents. Nowadays, Deptford represents multiculturalism. According to the 2001 census, the borough of Lewisham had a population of 248,922. Its population was 65.8% white, 12.3% black Caribbean, 9% black African and 2.1% black other. with 1.9% being white and black Caribbean and 0.6% white and black African. These population statistics changed massively in the 2011 census. The total population increased to 275,885. 53.6% of the population was white, 11.2% black Caribbean, 11.6% black African and 4.4% black other. There was an increase in the black mixed race population as well, with 3.1% white and black Caribbean and 1.3% white and black African. I expect the 2021 census information for the Borough of Lewisham to continue on a similar trend.
Hello, my name's Ian. I used to live and work in Deptford. I was a community warden in Deptford. Growing up in Deptford was an experience, I should say, because they call Deptford the salt of the earth. It's an old sailor's town. It's always been one. Now, when I was working in the community in Deptford, that was in 2008. Now, since from 2008 until now, Deptford has changed, unbelievably changed. Now, when I was doing community warden, they was in the process of gentrifying Deptford. There was no artisan cafes down in Deptford High Street. It was just a rough old high street with just 6 pubs on it, and that was it really. I've seen Deptford trends quite a lot, basically, from being sort of like a working class area to now sort of like up and coming middle class to upper class working area. There's always been black owned businesses in Deptford. There's always been like kind of a West Indian shop down there. There's always been like a kind of West Indian market down there and shops that sell like West Indian food and Caribbean food. A famous gangster called Harry, I can't remember his last name, used to have a tea shop down there where he used to help people out. It used to be the SC9 club, that was a famous nightclub by he used to call him H of Deptford. Harry, he's like that kind of gangster type, famous sort of gangster type person that used to live in Deptford. He was in my community warden, I used to talk to him all the time. I used to tour the estates of Deptford, and I've seen a lot of changes in Deptford. But like most of London, if you're watching this video and you want to look at Deptford, you'll be surprised to how much history